When is this actually starting?
Well, it's gonna start when we compose ourselves, right? Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jackson, as you all know. You all know me. You may not all know them, so introduce yourselves.
Sarah.
Sarah.
I'm Lauryn.
That's Lauryn. So today we're just going to be talking. It's going to be a good time. All right, so we'll first start off, before we get into this major story that we both have. I told you this. I did not tell you this, Lauryn. I had a very college moment yesterday.
Oh, really?
So in my English class, like a week ago, we had to write an essay in class about a passage that we read in a book. So our homework for yesterday's class was to read another passage from the book, and apparently we were supposed to write the essay outside of class. So I eat lunch. I come back here real quick before my class at 1. It's 12:30. I look at the assignment, and it said you had to do the essay before, but we did it in class last week. So I figured, do it in class this week too. Well, no. And it says it's due at 1, which is when the class starts, and I'm like, okay. So in 20 minutes, I typed out a terrible response to the passage I was reading.
Wow, that sounds really stressful.
So that, my friends, is the college lifestyle.
Don't do that.
Yeah. I didn't think it was going to come to this early, but it did.
Granted, we did drag you into something on Saturday that could have resulted in not having you two wait.
Yeah, exactly. There were ways to prevent this specific assignment, and there were ways to prevent this dumb trip that we went on. So, first, let's you two describe what happened before I got the Snapchat saying come on this trip with us.
Okay, so me and Lauryn decided that this past weekend we were going to do laundry, and I was like, oh, someone was telling me about Franconia Notch, which was a really nice, beautiful hiking place and for pictures, and someone who loves photography, I really wanted to take some nice pictures there. So we were like, let's go Saturday while we're doing our laundry. Do you have any more input on that?
Well, we had a plan.
Got to it.
Yeah, we had a plan that we were going to my grandmother's house to do laundry because it's only an hour from here and I wanted to visit her. And so that was our plan. And we just asked Jackson if he wanted to come.
So this particular Saturday morning, I woke up at 11 a.m., or I got out of bed at 11 a.m., showered, got back, and then around about 11:30, 11:45, I got the Snapchat saying, hey, do you want to come to Franconia Notch with us? No mention about laundry whatsoever. So then I'm like, sure, why not? You know what? Be spontaneous and stuff. So I'm sprinting around my room trying to gather everything. I leave, forget something, go back in there, grab it, leave.
That's my fault.
No, and then you tell me to bring...
I told you to bring water.
Yeah, so then I had to come back in, get water. Went over there. It was chillin', whatever. Didn't really have time to eat breakfast or lunch, but that's okay.
You got zucchini bread. Thanks, Mom.
Some pretty good zucchini bread.
I had a tiny bit of zucchini bread to hold me over until...
Okay, you put a nice thick slice.
Until I had
the one that I wanted.
More food.
Yeah.
Next, I walk into their room, and there are 2 big old bags of laundry in the room. And I'm like, all right, so they're going to do laundry. That's cool. And then, so they explained that they were going to do laundry at Lauryn's grandmother's house, which is an hour away, which was like, okay, whatever, And then, slowly, I begin to realize that campus, Lauryn's grandmother's house, and Franconia Notch are all an hour away from each other in a sort of triangle type thing.
Equilateral triangle.
An equilateral, yes. Because every side's the same size.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Equilateral.
distance-wise.
Equilateral.
Yeah,
That's what
distance-wise.
equilateral means.
Or the hour time-wise.
Anyways, I'm slowly starting to be like, oh, this isn't a good idea. I've got homework to do. I've got other stuff to do around here. So I get in the car with them eventually. They pack up all their laundry and crap. And then I'm like, I don't know, guys. I'm not really feeling this. I might just go back to my room and do homework. And then Lauryn goes, nope.
She whips it in reverse.
Yeah. Why didn't whip it in reverse?
No, you...
She said, nope, we're already moving. And then she starts moving. After she says, nope, we're already moving.
Well, keep in mind about the laundry. Sarah has 2 weeks worth of laundry, and
Okay,
I have
we
like
don't
5 days worth of laundry.
I'm sorry that I didn't want to do laundry last weekend when I wasn't here.
So we make our way to Lauren's grandmother's house.
As we were getting close to my grandma's house, we all kind of decided that, because it was already like 1 o'clock, and Franconia and Notch was another hour drive from there, so we decided that if we did our laundry, which was going to take at least a couple hours, that we were going to be super late to Franconia and Notch, and it might have been closed because it's the state park. So we dropped our laundry off at my grandmother's house because we figured that was a smart idea, and we were going to go to Franconia and Notch and come back and do our laundry.
So they dropped their laundry off, go to Franconia Notch. It's okay. We spent an hour and a half there. I'm being generous with that number. We spent an hour and a half there. I was like, all right, whatever. Go back to do laundry. It's 5 o'clock?
Yeah, roughly
Yeah.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock when we get back to Lauren's grandmother's house. And I'm like, can we just go do laundry on the campus? None of the laundry is mine. Sarah's got, what did you say, 3 loads?
It was 2 loads, 2.5 because I put some in with Lauryn.
2.5, and then Lauryn had 1.
Yeah.
And
So-
like a half.
Lot of laundry that isn't mine.
Well, keep in mind, on the drive to Franconia Notch and back, these two were bickering back and forth the whole time. Let's just
I
say
was
that.
just talking about how much this trip, how much I didn't want to be on the trip, because guess what? I didn't want to be on the trip. I tried getting out.
But you had multiple multiple times that you could have walked out of our room and be like, peace out, guys, I'm out.
Well, yeah,
He sat in our
wrestling.
room, saw the laundry, but still...
I was wrestling with my decision.
Still.
I was wrestling with my decision up until I finally made the decision in the car that I was going to go back to my room and do homework and be productive. But clearly didn't mean anything because it just left anyways. So after that, we're sitting doing laundry for a very, very long time. It gets to be around about 7:30, and we're like, all right, we need to get some food. So at about 8 o'clock, I think, or like a couple minutes before 8, we left to get pizza. There was supposed to be a place about 5 or 6 minutes down the road that's supposed to be, pizza. So we're going to go get it.
Pizza.
We get there, and it's closed at 8 o'clock on a Saturday.
Which doesn't make any sense.
So
then we choose on Domino's as our not sponsored pizza place of the night. We go to Domino's that's just 20 minutes away instead of 6 minutes away.
We got some good, ranch chicken pizza, hands down.
Chicken bacon ranch. Oh, yeah.
It was not chicken bacon ranch.
Yes, it was.
It had bacon on it?
Yes.
I thought it was, Canadian bacon. I don't know. I thought there were,
No.
chunks of tomato on it, too.
Yeah,
There were chunks of tomato on there,
It
but
was
I don't
chicken
know.
bacon ranch.
Anyways,
I'm not saying
the pizza's really good, which is why it's irrelevant to this.
No, it's
Whole
my favorite part about
thing.
the entire thing.
Exactly. That means it's irrelevant because we are talking about how terrible this trip was.
It was a great trip. What are you talking
So we filmed a nice, cute little mukbang video.
Mukbang.
We filmed a nice little video. It was cool. That was really brought the night to a good mood. So then we had to drive 20 minutes back to Lauren's grandmother's house to pick up laundry, there was still 1 load in the dryer. And so we walk into the laundry room, and Sarah, you can describe what happens next.
Okay, so just more context. Before we went to Domino's, I took out my wash from the washer, obviously.
And wait,
And-
I want to say this part.
No.
She goes,
Jackson stops the thing before it's supposed to be done.
I know, he opens the
He
lid.
opens the lid.
First of all, would not really matter for a washer. The washer doesn't dry your
It
clothes.
had to do a final spin, though.
It wasn't going to dry the clothes anymore. Anyways, she takes them out and she's like, these clothes are wet.
Like, they were, like, just, like, abnormally wet. Like, I don't know.
I'm like, they just came out of the washer.
But, like, you felt them. They were just, like, abnormally wet.
But also, while the clothes were in the washing machine started shaking very violently, and we did not know what
Scared
was
the
happening.
crap out of us.
Yeah. It was
And then
just
we
rocking
put it in the dryer, and I took it out of the dryer after we went to Domino's, of course. But it was still, like, they were, like, damply wet. And, like, I said, they're still so wet. Like, that was my reaction to it.
Anyways, they're so wet. She packs them up into our laundry bag. It's very heavy. And then we eventually leave.
Like 9:30 at this point, keep in mind of that.
Leave and start heading back to campus.
This is
where it gets bad.
This is like one day, just like we've had a long day at this point, and this is just it's
me
the
driving a
point.
total of like 8 or 9 hours for the whole day, maybe.
Oh, we
around that. Yeah.
So we got on 91, right, and then
What happens is Sarah starts. Well, I mean Sarah.
no, Lauryn.
For good reason.
Lauryn.
Sarah, for good reason, starts, stressing out about how she has to re-dry her clothes when she gets back to campus and stuff.
Yeah.
Lauren, kind of just, goes off on us and is like, I don't feel appreciated because I've been driving all this way and all you do is complain. And we're like, oh my goodness, okay. So it's going to be there.
We were complaining about other things other than her driving.
Right. We weren't putting any blame on her.
Well, I was just driving the whole day, and by the time this was 9:30 at night, I was very cranky.
And then this leads off to Sarah and Lauren arguing, each trying to take the blame, which is super ridiculous. So
It was my fault that I was like, hey, let's go to Franconia Notch. But, it was my fault that we poorly planned this trip. And then she's complaining that it's her fault that she's been driving. And then I was
taking us, everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me now.
Right,
For
so
some reason it did before.
they're fighting,
Over that.
literally over that, which is absolutely ridiculous. If I were in that situation, I would be pushing the blame. Honestly, I wouldn't try to be taking it. So then I just turn to them and I go, shut up, okay? I have an actual, So then I come to my moment of, epiphany. I'm like, shut up, this has to stop. I'm going off on them, and they don't really listen to me. They just keep arguing about the blame. Then, funnily enough, Lauren's low fuel light goes on.
Okay,
But there was still 70 miles left, which didn't make any sense to me. But Jackson was the only one with the level head at this point. So me and Sarah are kind of freaking out, and he's trying to calm me down this whole time. So let's just appreciate
I'm
that.
freaking out. Well,
No, you're not.
Oh my god, no, you're not.
I'm stressing out on the inside. There is no reason to be stressed at this point. We have a straight shot back to campus.
There's several gas stations, keeping in mind.
But there's so
on
much
91.
There's so much tension in this car that I'm just stressing out about the fact that they're stressing out and there's just no need to be. Lauren tells me to find a gas station, so I'm like, okay, found a gas station. You know what? It's in St. Johnsbury, which is 30 minutes away at this point.
10 miles away.
It was 30 minutes away at this point. And we all kind of all right, okay, we're just going to go there. There's still now 60 miles left on the tank, but Lauren's still freaking out about it.
Because I just got this car. Here's some background info. I just got this car a month and a half ago, and it was never this low on fuel before, and I did not know it was going to happen. So I had a reason to freak out because I pretty much just got this car.
I mean, yes, it's a valid, but we also had 70 miles left. I would have started freaking out more on 40, but...
So Lauren sees an exit that there's a little icon that has a gas pump on it, and she's like, oh, there's gas, we're going. She gets off the highway, and she's like, okay, tell me where it is. And it didn't show up on my map because it wasn't there. It didn't exist.
Then there shouldn't have been a gas sign.
It said it was 4 miles, so we were going north.
We were going that way.
We were going...
4 miles.
It should have been 4 miles west because we were going north, so...
And then Lauren is high-key stressing. We lose service, so now Sarah's high-key stressing. And
because we don't have service, we don't have any sense of direction other than Jackson's little tiny phone.
which
was flipped upside down the first 5 minutes.
Well, it wasn't. We still had our streets, okay? And there was no big deal about it being flipped. I find a gas station, which, guess what? It was the same one in St. Johnsbury. But I was not about to say that to Lauryn.
We didn't need that close.
That would just... And so I'm like, honestly, we just need to turn around, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to, I direct her all the way, literally taking back roads and like going all over the place, going to St. Johnsbury. We finally get there, and I'm like, if we just stay, well, I'm thinking in my head, if we just stayed on the highway, guess what? We would have got there like in a quarter of the time. At this point, I'm legit done. I had to go take a breather outside the car for a while they were pumping gas.
But inside the car, you were really helping me through it, though. Like, you were saying it's gonna be okay and everything like
well,
that.
Because it literally was.
I know, but like, we were in the middle of Vermont with no service and I had no idea where physical we were. Maps. It was pitch black out, and Jackson's like got like this little tiny phone,
and he's like, it's gonna be okay.
Zooming in, and it's like, gotta take a right here, and you're gonna follow this road all the way down. I mean, like, kudos to you for, like, first of all, keeping a level head the entire time.
Well, me and Sarah were,
like, way off the highway. But we finally got to Route 2, and we, like, it was basically a straight shot to St. Johnsbury, but, like, we ended up in a place where we didn't even need to be. Like, it was just unnecessary.
But we found the gas station, so that was good.
But there was a gas station that was closed prior to that one.
But we knew that beforehand.
Because I said it. And I'm sure if I hadn't have said it, they would have been like, oh, there's gas, but it's closed. And then they would have started freaking out even more.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I was like, and on your left will be a closed gas station, but don't worry, there's more where that came from.
Yeah, there was like quite a few that you found, right?
I counted 10 if we had just kept going straight and not around the entirety of Vermont. But it's okay. We made it.
All because of a sign. Let's just say it's all because of
honestly,
that stupid
sign.
But when Lauryn decided to get off the highway, she didn't really consult us that much. So
it was an impulsive decision on her part. I love you, but it was an impulsive decision.
Because I needed gas. There was a gas sign.
But we already had
You had
plans.
60, 50, whatever miles left.
So we finally arrived back to campus.
We drove so much that there were 30 miles on the tank left when we got gas.
Yeah.
We got back to campus, 11 o'clock?
11 o'clock, so it ended up being an 11-hour trip, and she still had to dry her laundry.
Yeah, and by this time, I had probably driven over 200 miles in less than a day, probably in like 8 hours.
Hey, no worries. We bought her pizza.
Yeah, which was good.
But he ate all the pizza the next day, and I really wanted the pizza.
Now I want pizza.
I offered it, and then not now, so I was like, okay. I waited a couple hours, and I was like, okay, well, they probably don't want it, so then I ate it all.
And then I messaged him, I was like,
and then
I want the pizza.
Probably like...
It was 8 o'clock
probably a half hour.
It was definitely 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, 8 o'clock at night. So a while after I ate the pizza. Like, oh, you still got that pizza? I'm like, nope.
Well, yeah, because I wanted pizza or a quesadilla. Lauryn and I drove home the first weekend because she missed her cat.
Yeah.
She's got a cat, and her name is Cammie, and Cammie's so freaking cute.
She's my baby. She's my child.
I have Tiny Dancer, and she's my precious, precious thing. She's my princess, and I love her so much.
I did go home the first weekend. This is a bombshell to a lot of you, because I didn't tell anybody. But I went home to get this equipment, this lovely equipment.
So we could record our podcast.
Yeah.
Which I'm highly regretting right now.
No, you aren't.
Yeah, I
That's why
am.
we wanted to do it so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I regret this so much. I
think it should be called Idiot's Take on College Life.
Oh my god, please.
No.
Yes!
That's a long title. Idiots Take on College Life. And also, we just talk about random things on this podcast, and a lot of things. In the first episode's about a trip where...
Can like the episode, like this episode be like college... Oh, hold on, like...
I'm gonna probably name this one... A nightmare of a trip or something like that. So thank you for watching that first episode of the podcast. This is bad. It only gets better from here. So don't worry. This is a pilot episode where no network would take us. But there will be better episodes to come. But I don't want to re-record this episode.
Well, this is our first one, so give us a chance, especially Jackson, because he's gonna do other things without us. So give him a chance.
Don't worry. It'll just be me sometimes. It'll be
We'll
me
be
and
back, though.
It'll be me and Ryan when I come home sometimes. See you guys in the next episode or whatever video I post next. Thank you.
Peace.
Bye.